Hello, this is OK episode 4, Budgeting the Right Way. Budgeting means analyzing your income and setting standards for your expenditure to allow yourself spend in a wise manner and save money for the long term. When you budget on personal level, you allocate a certain percentage of your fund to expense categories say groceries, house repair, etc. While in a business, a budget defines how much you are allowed to spend on a particular business component to allow expansion and drive profits. Budget helps you better understand your money flow and paves the road to financial strength. Most people find budgeting as an unnecessary work and end up questioning where all their money goes. In this post, we are going to discuss about budgeting at personal level. Spending money without a budget is like jumping off an airplane without a parachute. The very first step towards budgeting is analyzing and planning. The most obvious question when you understand why you need a budget is how to get started. And my advice is to take a piece of paper and pen. In order to prepare a budget, you have to first understand your money inflows and outflows. Note down all the sources of income on a piece of paper and all your expenses for the month below that. Once you have written everything down, start categorizing. Expenses can be essential expenses like rent, grocery, EMI, bill payments, and non essential such as buying new clothes, shoes, watches, etc. Once you are done with tagging the outflow of your money, it is time to make a better outflow. Decide on what are the expenses that can be reduced. If your goal is to just save some money for the future, you can just cut expenses that you think are unnecessary. But if you are planning to be rich someday, you have to cut all the expenses expect that are essential. 1 by 10 rule. When preparing a budget, you must have some set of rules that allow you to limit and plan your expenditure. This 1 by 10 rule is one of my favorites. This rule basically means you are allowed to spend only 1/10 of your money on unnecessary expenses that you do just for fun. Expenses like buying a new car, going out on an expensive date, going on an unplanned trip, partying on weekends. As per this rule, if you want to buy a watch that costs 10,000 INR, you must have 1 lakh INR in your bank account. This way, you will end up buying your first car when you have already lakhs in your bank account. The rule requires a lot of discipline and is not recommended for most people. 1 by 3 investment rule. A budget is not just limited to cutting expenses, but it also involves planning investments. The one third rule suggests that you should always aim to invest at least one third of your income. Now, investment doesn't mean putting the money into bank account. In fact, you should not keep your money in bank account except emergency fund. Now you might ask where to invest money. That is indeed a good question, and I will answer that in upcoming content. But for now, short answer is mutual fund. Mutual funds are the best options for common man to invest as they offer good returns with limited risks. Coming back to investment rule, not everyone is able to save one third of their income for them. I would recommend investing as little as they can because once your money starts growing itself, the burden on your shoulder is reduced. Tools. When it comes to budget planning and keeping track of all the expenses, the pen and paper method is a bit too much time consuming. Instead, I like to use some set of tools. You can use Khata book to track expenses or any money that you lend to others. You can also add budget in Khata book just to create a new customer with the name of expense category, say groceries. Now add green amount in the grocery section, that is your budget every time you buy grocery. Add money via red button. Apart from that, you can use an Excel sheet to track your money flow. In the Excel sheet, you can mention all the in and outflows. Okan is an original finance series, and I will continue posting finance content. So hit the subscribe button, and thank you for being with me.